what is the role of the chief economist?
The chief economist for EVE Online has exactly the same role as any other economist in any other economy. We monitor and watch what's going on with basic economic indicators, inflation, money supply, growth, our GDP, and then make recommendation to our form of our government, which is basically the game designers and those that are developing the game into the future in cooperation with the community actually.
Now with the expansion odds coming out, do you plan any changes to the economy?
There are always changes happening in EVE, and every expansion that we put out there is something that changes. I would say this time it's going to be interesting and specifically for anyone interested in the market.
And would you be able to talk a little more about once Dust goes live this year, once the beta ends, how do you plan on integrating the Dust economy and the EVE economy?
Think of it as Europe discovering America in the Middle Ages. It is basically such there's one universe that's been growing and gaining economic value, and then there's going to be another one discovered alongside it. And they will be connecting step by step. So we expect the merging of the two economies to be slow but certain, and we will take each step once we have reached a certain level of integration. First, we will start by allowing currency to move slowly between the games. We will even use a financial transaction tax to make sure that the money doesn't flood one economy over the other. We will then start moving over to resources, and then the third phase will be full integration sometime in the future. We have another decade to work on this, so we will not give out any timing on when that will happen.
Let's say that some Dust players were previous EVE players. Would they be able to use their currency to buy like add-ons in Dust?
Yes, as the economies become more integrated, you will definitely be able to harvest resources in one game and utilize them in another. And specifically, you were able to earn currency and utilize it in the same one. It's one universe from the standpoint of the in-game virtual currency called interstellar credit, or ISK.
And also for the current EVE players, are there any incentive to try to encourage them to also play Dust, or are you trying to have two player-based economies or revenue-generating economies?
There is an incentive for you as an EVE player to play in Dust that doesn't necessarily impact the Dust player. As an example, you will be able to earn efficiency bonuses if you own planets that are in a constellation or in a solar system. And from the sovereignty war in 0.0 in EVE. That is an EVE-specific game mechanic, even though it's triggered by communication with Dust. And likewise on the Dust side. So it's not only just monetary gain going back and forth between the games, they're also designed to facilitate that interaction.
You talk about the taxes, so how are you going to determine what rate to set the tariffs and the taxes between the two economies? Because basically the people on playing Dust are mercenaries. And there's no guarantee that once they take the contract, they're going to fulfill the contract or anything. So how are you going to basically police this economic transaction?
The million-dollar question. First of all, we do not want to police it. This is something that happens in trade between players. What we are concerned with is that EVE has grown now for 10 years and has built economic wealth within that system. That wealth could potentially, and I'm only saying potentially, flood the Dust market and interfere with the economic engine there. So we have to be sure that whatever comes from EVE to Dust is manageable. And that's where you will be thinking of financial transaction taxes. We can call it, or not call it, we can refer to a token tax as an example, even though that is a currency exchange tax. It is basically a similar thinking of having a financial transaction tax to minimize the incentive of moving money in the beginning. And then when we learn step by step how much money people are willing to move, given certain tax rates, we will start to adjust it up or down, depending on the situation. So we are heading on a journey with our players that we will just learn, just like them, step by step, what is best, and we will take it slowly. There will not be a financial crisis like happened in Iceland in my game.
I understand that there will be some announcements about Dust and more of an integration with EVE online at this FanFest. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Not at this point, no, sorry, but I can just generally refer to that this will be happening in phases, and even if we have a vision for a certain alignment in the future. A lot of that vision is only going to come through depending on how the players participate in the gameplay or in the two universes. So even if we have a plan, that might be altered by the way that the players themselves want to play the game. So this is, as I said earlier, this is a journey, not a definite path. One thing I can say though is that the objective, the vision, is to have the two economies merging fully into the future.